Hello, everyone, and welcome to Soundwave. This is your new music feature here on the Lifeguard, where we talk about new releases, give our thoughts, our opinions. I'm Boden Jennings. My favorite albums are Ex-Military by Death Grips, Divorce Lawyers I Shave My Head by Jordan Mason, and Diaspora Problems by Soul Glow. My favorite solo artists are Jordan Mason, Chad Van Galen, and Danny Brown. And my favorite bands are Death Grips, Lightning Bolt, and Told Slant. And I'm joined here today by my two co-hosts. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
I'm Sam Owens.
My favorite albums are In Rainbows, Radiohead, Viator, Jack Stauber, and my favorite of all time is The Downward Spiral by Nine Inch Nails. My favorite solo artists are Jack Stauber, Saul Williams, and Fiona Apple. My favorite bands are Nine Inch Nails, Radiohead, and Shoo Shoo.
And I'm Aries Kim.
My favorite albums are Fabulous Muscles by Shoo Shoo, Breath from Another by Utero, and my favorite of all time is I'll Try Living Like This by Death Dynamic Shroud. My favorite solo artists are Machine Girl, Bjork, and Teaser Korean. And my favorite bands are Shoo Shoo, Death Dynamic Shroud, and Feeble is Glock.
Awesome. So our show today is being cut up into multiple segments, and I'm going to start with our first segment now, which is called the release Reservoir. This is where we talk about new releases in the last week or so in the music sphere. So first off, I would like to talk about the new Mitski album, which released last Friday, and it's called The Land is Inhospitable and So Are We. Who would like to take it away?
You can start.
So I was originally tasked with reviewing this album solo, but I'm very glad that you two got the chance to listen to it because it is a very good album.
I agree.
So good.
It's kind of a departure from Mitski's normal sound. It brings in a lot of folk sound, which I adore. I'm on a kind of a folk kick right now, so I really, really love the direction that her sound went for this album.
Mm-hmm. The lyrics are so good in a lot of the tracks, and the instrumentals are just so unique.
Very chambery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think each song brings out its own thing because some albums, like everything, will sound really similar.
Okay, yeah.
So I like that each song is very different in its own way.
Yeah, each song has its own like twang to it. One track called The Frost has a lot of very like country, like windy guitar to it, which is great. But speaking of like tracks, which tracks were your guys' favorite on the album?
My favorite was I'm Your Man. I just love the lyrics. It's so good.
Oh, my favorite song was Star.
Star's great.
It's the most ambient track on the album. It's very atmospheric, and that's the sound I'm really attracted to. And like any music, so to hear on this album done so well and not detracting from like the cohesiveness of the album, I thought it was really good.
Yeah. You said before that the intro track you felt didn't really represent what the rest of the album had in store. Like, why do you say that?
The intro track is the most like choir. It has a gospel moment in it.
Mm-hmm.
The word family rings out like very, very powerfully, and it kind of prepares you for that kind of orchestral nature throughout the rest of the album, and it doesn't really follow suit, but it still fits the identity of the album. It's just not. It just doesn't prepare you for what sounds are coming next.
And then the next track is We Will Rock You.
The next track, Buffalo Revealed?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that. What's the first track called? You should mention that.
Bug like an...
Wait.
Bug like a...
Like a... Hold on, I'm gonna use my...
Yeah, use your brain
moderator
power.
review power to reveal that the name of this song, which we all know it.
We do. We just need
is called Bug Like an Angel.
Bug Like an Angel.
Great song.
I think it's a good song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I love The Dead. Oh my God, The Deal. The Dead. I love The Deal. There's like a middle track in the album.
The Frost, I love.
The Frost is great.
Something I'll say is two tracks on this album, I Don't Like My Mind and My Love Mine All Mine, are the more Mitski songs on the album. Like it's what you expect of Mitski.
Yeah.
Those were the singles, right? Or is it just?
I know My Love Mine All Mine was a single. I'm not sure about I Don't Like My Mind, but they're both excellent songs. I think My Love Mine All Mine is like a perfect like promo song, and I'm glad it blew up. But it's if you're used to Mitski, this album as a whole might not fit what you're expecting, but those two songs in particular are very classic Mitski.
Yeah. For shorter tracks, I thought When Memories Snow is gorgeous. A lot of this album is gorgeous. But moving on, there was a new Drake project that was supposed to come out that got delayed. But there was a single that befalled to us.
Slime You
Out.
Slime You Out
with SZA. Love
I don't
SZA.
think it's not like bad.
Love SZA.
I don't think we have much to say on it.
I was really surprised.
We'll have more to say when the full album releases for sure. But
Surprised on the title.
for now, it's Drake. For now, it's Drake being Drake. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
Which is for some people and for
What's
some
his
people
name? Aubrey?
Aubrey Graham.
Yep.
It's Aubrey being Aubrey.
Other releases, Cannibal Corpse came out last week, as well as a new Doja project, which both got pretty middling reviews.
And none of us listened to metal or Doja Cat. So we don't have a very good gauge.
We have a crew of metalheads, but
Yeah, but no one wants to.
Okay.
No one wants to talk about it.
Let's move on to our next segment, which is called the Album Forecast. This is where we're going to talk about upcoming releases in the next week or two that we're going to cover on the show and probably the next episode. First up, we have a new Wilco album coming out September 29th, this Friday. It is called Cousin. You may know Wilco from their 2002 album Yankee Hotel Foxtrot, which is a massive cult classic album in, music enjoyers. We have a Animal Collective album also coming out the 29th, and I am a huge Animal Collective fan, as shown by this album, which came out in 2005, called Feels, I Love, and I brought it in today. Great album. Recommend that you listen. It's like idiosyncratic, like indie pop. It's great. Next up, we have a new Ed Sheeran album, also coming out the 29th, called Autumn Variations, which I'm sure Mr. Woodcock is going to adore. Maybe we can get him in to talk about it once it releases, but that's exciting. We also have a new Sufjan Stevens album coming out October 6th, a week after the last wave of albums, called Javelin. And I love Illinois as a Sufjan project, but I'm not like super duper into Sufjan. Are either of you really into Sufjan?
I'm not a huge Sufjan fan.
I don't listen to.
I think as an indie musician, he's great.
Yeah.
And I think if you want to get more into him, you should listen to Carrie and Lowell,
Mm-hmm.
which is a fantastic album, but a very, very heavy album.
Yeah, I've heard it. It's pretty depressive at times. Next up, we have a new Shushu project.
Yes, Shushu announced on Instagram
They
that
finished an album.
they finished their latest album. They already released this year with Ignore Grief.
Yeah, so they're
And,
doubling up.
They're doubling up. Hopefully this year. Hopefully it comes out this
Oh,
year.
please.
There's no release date yet. They just said that it's done, so no signals,
No
nothing.
hints.
But that's exciting news. And then next up, we have a new Jimmy Buffett album, a posthumous album. This one is called Equal Strain on All Parts, which I believe comes out in early November. So a bit further up than the rest of the albums that we've talked about in the segment. But yeah, Jimmy Buffett recently passed. And that brings us to another part of our show where we're going to call Celebrating Sound. This is where we're going to talk about all the musicians who sadly passed away in the last year, 2023. There's been quite a few that have left a huge impact on the music world. One such obviously being Jimmy Buffett, who I don't think we had a personal connection with. A bit
Older
beyond-
generation.
Yeah, a bit beyond our time. We went to his restaurant.
It's a Destiny USA staple.
Yeah.
The big broken
Blender.
Margarita blender.
Yeah. So that's our connection to Jimmy Buffett. May he rest in peace. Next up, Steve Harwell of Smash Mouth recently passed of acute liver failure, which is super sad. I know Smash Mouth has had a huge impact on our generation. and memes and just like subcultures on the internet. We grew up listening to Smash Mouth on the radio, early 2000s music. So this is really sad to see, especially since, like alcoholism is like, it's a big problem, with a lot of musicians and touring bands. It really sucks to see. We also have Jeremiah Green, who passed away earlier this year on New Year's. He was the drummer of Modest Mouse, a founding member of the band, incredible musician. He died of mouth cancer very rapidly. It was only announced a few weeks before he died, and I was actually supposed to see them on tour during his last tour with the band. So it's super sad to see. He was like 45. Just depressing. But we're also going to talk about Kurt Cobain a little bit, because it was recently the 30th anniversary of Nirvana's In Utero. Yep, there we go.
My shirt.
On September 21st of 1993 is when In Utero came out. Huge milestone album.
For sure.
Would you guys want to talk about that?
In Utero is probably, I'd say, their best album, objectively.
Agreed.
Objectively?
Yeah.
Objectively, it's their best album.
No, it's not my favorite, but it's their best.
I feel like a lot of people say that Nevermind is their best album, and subjectively, In Utero is like their favorite.
Nevermind is good, but it's not In Utero.
Nevermind didn't take as many risks as In Utero, and I feel like the amount of risks they took and how well it paid off makes it better.
Mm-hmm. In Utero is an album that's super rough around the edges, and that adds so much to the sound. It like resonates deep. I think a lot of that is production from Steve Albini, who's known for producing the Pixies in the past. And Kurt Cobain definitely made the right choice with how this album sounds. It's very guttural.
Yeah.
Very punchy vocals. It's amazing.
There's not a single track on that album that's not good.
No.
I feel like every single one is just so awesome.
It starts off with
Service Servants,
which is a great introductory track.
So good.
And then your favorite song is All Apologies.
Yeah, about that, it's the least In Utero song
Yeah.
on In Utero. It sounds like it should be on Nevermind. But I just love, because the whole album is very intense, and All Apologies is kind of a slow spot. It gives you kind of a break.
It's the last track.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I know. It gives you a break from, like, it's a descending kind of thing. It's like it crescendos up.
It's like a little lullaby.
Yeah. Beyond that, I think, like songs like Heart Shaped Box, are excellent, and really add a lot to the grunge sound, and it takes it beyond grunge into almost a place of noise.
Yeah, there's a lot of just like grindy guitar noises, and Kurt's vocals are like as far as they could possibly go. At that time, he talked about having like stomach ulcers from how he sang, because he sang right from his stomach, and you can really hear that, especially in Utero. The album takes a more bare bones approach compared to Nevermind, which the band has criticized for being overproduced compared to like what they were interested in at the time. But yeah, it's an album that is worth celebrating, and 30 years passed, and almost 30 since Kurt died in 1994. I feel like you guys should say one more thing, maybe. Because I don't know how about leaving it on. Yeah.
Oh. Well, what?
Oh, I have a question for you guys. Yes. What do you think is the most In Utero sounding track on In Utero?
It's Very Ape.
I also agree with Very Ape. I agree with Milk It is also very In Utero sounding.
The guitar sound on Very Ape, and how it's like it's relentless. Just over and over, and Kurt's vocals are like intense on that song.
I think Very Ape is the first Nirvana song to utilize two separate guitar parts, and it's because Pat Smear joined the band. Pat Smear of what band was he in? In the Germs. He was a part of the Germs in early punk. He joined the band, and that was the first time that they ever had a second guitar player on stage. So they utilized that for Very Ape.
Pat Smear.
Pat Smear.
Sounds like Pap Smear.
It really does.
That's
He's part of Foo
unfortunate.
Fighters now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
He's an older
Stuck
gentleman.
with the Grohl.
Dave Grohl, Flea, and Pap Smear.
Pap Smear.
All right. Well, I hope you're ready for some karaoke, because we have a special little karaoke segment from the one and only Mr. Schmedski. Take it away.
Oh, there we go. 1, 2, 3, go. My baby don't mess around because she loves me so, and this I know for sure. What does she really want? But I can't stand to see me walk up the floor. Clap, clap. Don't try to fight the feeling, cause the thought alone is killing me. Thank God for Mom and Dad for sticking together, cause we don't know how. Hey, yeah. We'll skip there. Clap, clap. And don't forget hold a key. This is done on purpose. Hey, yeah. You think you've got it, no, you think you got it, but it's just, don't get it till there's nothing at all. Clap, clap. Repeat. We get together, oh, we get together, but separate's always oh, hard on the extreme. Clap, clap. If that's what they say, it's going backwards. What? Ghost in the machine. So we're winging it. And there we go. Is that it? Oh, and crickets. That's perfect. Hey, yo. Oh, this is... I can't hear what you're saying. I say what's cooler than being... All right. Okay, now, ladies. And all right. Okay, now, ladies. Okay, all right, now, ladies.
Spectacular. This was the first episode of Soundwave. Tune in next time for more.